Welcome to Hard Truths with Hardy. We've got a great special guest today, Chase Reno.
Hi.
Hi. Chase, where do you work? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm the owner and CEO of Knoxville Title. We're a full-service title company serving all of Tennessee and Kentucky, residential, commercial, transactions alike.
Knoxville Title, honestly, in my opinion, is the dominating title company in this market, and they're definitely growing and expanding. I probably can't say yet, but Chase is working on some things outside of Knoxville. I think in the future you're going to see a lot more of Knoxville Title.
Yeah, definitely expanding our reach north, south, east, and west.
It's going to be big, you guys. It's going to be big. Well, I met Chase through my friend Leslie McElroy. I would call her on occasion and say, let me tell you about this mess and what happened. And she kept saying, you've got to try Knoxville Title. And I've worked with some good title companies, and occasionally one that's not so good, but mostly good ones. But every time I would tell her about a crazy situation, she'd say, you've got to call Chase at Knoxville Title. So she introduced me, and one day I thought, I'm going to send this next closing to Chase and see how it goes. And it was an impeccable experience. I was so shocked at how different it was. The other thing that I love is that if I need something, and frequently realtors need things from title companies that we don't have access to get to, like restrictions on a subdivision. I don't have any way to get that, but Chase can. Sometimes when you ask for that from other title companies, you're on the back burner. It may take a few days before you hear back, and I don't have a few days to get that to a client. Something I love is that when I reach out to Chase and his team, usually within an hour I get a response, even on weekends and evenings. That is top-notch customer service in my book, and it's really what I love most about working with you guys.
Thank you. One of the big things that I pride Knoxville Title on and any of our brands is that we really are revolutionizing the title industry. Title insurance has been the same kind of crusty dusty is how I typically explain it for years, and there's been no technology or even really innovation in this space for years. And I think that there's a huge shift currently in the market, in the title insurance market, where if you're not leveraging technology, really putting the clients first and providing that top-notch level of communication and service, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can think of a couple other things that you guys are doing different, but we'll get to that. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Have you always lived in Knoxville?
No, I've not always lived in Knoxville. Born and raised in Maryville, which is, for those of you that may not be from the area, that's just like 15 minutes away. Moved to Knoxville in 2019, the middle of 2019, with the whole COVID debacle. Bought my first home in 2020, December of 2020. Moved to Knoxville to take over Knoxville Title in, like I said, November of 2019. So that's my story. Born and raised in Maryville, transitioned to Knoxville as an adult.
Something I notice about you that's different than what I see typically in a title company owner is your age.
Yes.
That's always impressed me, that at your age you own a title company, and to be quite frank, that you speak so knowledgeably and eloquent and professionally.
Well, a lot of things, I always say people don't wake up and say they want to go into title because no one really knows what we do. So for me, it was kind of ingrained in me from a young age. It's family affair, so to speak. Cue that song. My mom's in it, aunt, grandmother's in it. But really, again, growing up with that, I just saw that there was a huge need for innovation in a stale industry. People didn't know, like I said, what we did. The technology was so dated. So really saw a great opportunity to step into a space and provide some youthfulness, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm going to mention one other thing. I'm going off of our outline here, but something else I've noticed with you guys. You're the first title company in Knoxville that I've seen to have a marketing associate that goes out and really specifically works on meeting agents and bringing sales into the business.
So maybe we should do another podcast on sales, but one of the big things that I push here for my team is every single staff member, regardless of what you do, is in sales. So I can work on your relationship for a year, 2 years to try to get you to use me. Same thing with Jordan, one of our sales team members, and it can be messed up with one email or one bad phone call. So we push really, really heavily that every single staff member is in sales because we're constantly selling Knoxville Title. And the marketing piece, we're everywhere. We try to be everywhere. Brand recognition is more important than ever.
I think that what you just talked about is so important, and I'll give an example. I always fuss about title companies who hang their hat on one big customer or a builder specifically, because what happens if that builder goes under,
right,
or their business dries up? Then that title company they're gone too.
Yeah,
they can't do that.
Yeah, those days are gone, in my opinion, and maybe there's another title representative watching this and they disagree, but those days are gone. Hanging your hat on one customer, one affiliated business agreement or something along those lines, those days are gone, because you have a new era of title coming into East Tennessee, primarily led by me. There's a lot of title companies on the West Coast that have sales forces, and no one in East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee maybe, has a sales force. Knoxville Title has a sales force. We're pushing sales harder than ever.
Yeah, I think that's important. You can't do what everybody else is doing and expect to succeed.
That's right.
You got to be the leader in the industry. What I always love to hear is tell me about the crazy stuff. How I know you've had many deals where you thought, I don't know if this one's ever going to make it to our closing table. But what's happened to you recently that's kind of crazy?
So we've had, we could talk for hours. It's always interesting. We have clients. Typically, we deal with people that are happy. They're happy they're buying. They're happy they're selling. Most of the time. Not all the time. We have, if there's an estate issue, divorce issue, and listen, divorces are nasty. Divorces are nastier than they've ever been, in my opinion. They're litigious. They're really, really, really nasty. We see, if we have 5 divorces, 4 of them are so bad we can't even let them in the same room. And now what we've been doing is just making them go to different offices, because I don't have time for the baby mama drama.
You know what I started doing? It never fails when I'm dealing with a couple that's getting divorced that this party's emailing me or texting me wanting to get something over on the other party. I've started saying there's zero communication with me that both parties aren't on it. So if you're emailing me and this other spouse isn't on here, I won't be responding, or I will redirect this to an email with both of us.
Yeah, I had a situation the other day where a processor pulled me in, and there was a situation, husband was trying to get dirt on the wife was trying to get dirt on the husband, and the processor was like, I'm just the middleman. And I was like, hey, we're not doing this. Got them both on the phone call together. Horrible mistake, but we laid out those expectations. But as far as some of the other craziest things that we've seen, we've had, it was at the tail end of COVID, and it was this really nasty estate file, and there was 7 or 8 heirs, 6, 7 maybe, 7 or 8 heirs, and they had shut us down. We couldn't have clients in the building. We were doing that whole parking lot thing, and it was a disaster. So I had 3 staff members out there. We were running around with these clipboards, wearing these masks, and these brothers and sisters started fighting. Like, we had to call the police. Like, it was just a disaster. So they all were mad because they wanted this specific thing that mom had, and it just turned into this domestic violence situation. And Brent, who's my COO, and I always joke, we're like, man, that's the only time we've ever had to call the cops. So you think.
At least as of right now.
For now.
So I've got a question for you. I get asked this all the time. People will say, do I really need to pay for title insurance? And my answer is always resoundingly, yes.
Yes, so that's always a big thing you get. Well, I don't even really know what title insurance is. And how I explain it, kind of in a joking manner, is, have you ever been in a car accident? So when you got in that car accident, did you have your seatbelt on? You did. Well, what if you would have said, you know what, I don't want to wear that seatbelt, and then right before you got in that car accident, you tried to put your seatbelt on really fast?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I explain it. Title insurance is very, very important. Obviously, we could talk about it all day. Insurance is risk-based, so there's risks in everything. There's a lot of really cool endorsements out now from the American Land Title Association where we can actually protect home buyers post-policy. So like a post-policy forgery, so maybe there's some type of a seller impersonation, maybe they file a bogus lien, title insurance will protect you on that.
That's awesome. I always tell people, just because everything's electronic now, it wasn't always electronic.
That's right.
And even though it may have sold another time or 2 times since then, that doesn't mean that it's not possible to go back and have errors previously. So you always want to get title insurance.
That's right. Always, always, always. Obviously, I'm biased, but it's definitely something that you need to have.
Well, Chase, what's something realtors do that you hate?
So, at advice of my legal counsel, I'm going to decline to answer this because someone will inevitably get their butt hurt.
What is it that I do that you hate?
Nothing really, no.
All right, well then let's flip it to the other direction. What is something that realtors do that you love?
Okay, communication. One thing that I absolutely love is when there is a real estate agent, either side, doesn't matter, that works with us, that is responsive. That to me is like icing on the cake. I love when people are responsive. For us to get things to the table, we need you to work with us, respond quickly, answer your phone, answer your emails and texts. I'm sure you could talk about how hard it is to get a hold of some people. But one of the things that I love most is when realtors give us all the information up front. What does that mean? Contact information, commission. I always find it interesting when we get a contract with no contact information.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's why I'm not in processing. But one thing that I love is when realtors communicate. Communication is key in all aspects of life.
Yeah, I'm like you. I like getting all the information up front.
Get it all out at once.
Yeah. If I can minimize steps, that I don't have to do later, get it all done up front, I love that. Yeah, streamline the process.
Should we talk about AI?
Oh my gosh, yes, I actually thought about that, but I didn't know if you were wanting to talk about it just yet. Chase is doing something that I don't think anybody else in this area is doing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we utilize our title production software is Qualia, and this is not a paid advertisement for Qualia. So Qualia is TPS, title production software, and they have rolled out an industry-leading AI software called Clear. So Qualia Clear. So I'm going to refer to that as Clear. So we've rolled this out, and it is completely revolutionizing how we operate as a title operation. Our staff members are going from doers to reviewers. So what does that mean? So if you send in a purchase and sale agreement, it's all within our title production software. It doesn't go out into the other language models. It's closed language model. That AI brain is reviewing the purchase and sale agreement, putting it into our system. We have a staff member that goes through and checks it, they approve it, and it starts reaching out to the clients, introducing Knoxville Title to your clients. On the exam piece, so title search piece, we're taking an abstractor's notes and all the deeds in the chain of title, dropping it into Clear, and it's producing a commitment in under 3 to 4 minutes.
That is insane.
Yeah. It's industry leading, and if your title company is not looking at AI, then you need to be asking them why, because they will very quickly be left behind.
Yeah. You can't just keep doing things the way you've always done it. It's not going to work.
Well, and that's a big thing. I think a lot of our success on here at Knoxville Title is, again, I'm always adapting and trying to find the best technology that's out there. And a lot of the older title companies in town are like, hey, I've been doing it like this since the 70s, and I'm not going to change my ways, which is great because then it's easy for me to take their business because we're faster.
That's so true. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. You've been a great guest.
Well, hopefully I get to come back.
Oh, yes, you can come back anytime. Don't forget, we have a new podcast coming out every Wednesday. You can watch us on your favorite venue, so Spotify. We also post our link to Instagram, Facebook, and we can't wait to see you next week.